Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the next Finnish flavor of the month, young conductor phenom person. It's this guy, Tarmo Peltokoski. There he is. And, like I said before, he looks like he's about 12. He's probably older than that, I would think. And it doesn't matter because, as I have always insisted, what matters is how he sounds, not what he looks like or how old he is or the hype that surrounds him. And the hype. Here we go. Let's read the hype. I love reading the hype. Look out, here comes a genius, Tiapison, conducting 3 Mozart masterpieces that the rapturously acclaimed young Finnish phenomenon, Tarmo Peltokoski, makes his debut as an exclusive Deutsche Grammophon artist, about which he says, quote, "It's a luxury to perform Mozart with the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie Bremen." Oh, it is. And to put these 3 symphonies on record is a dream come true, unquote. In a recent concert review, they don't say of what, the Berlin Tagesspiegel wrote, quote, "Peltokoski is a talent of a century. His interpretive feats appear effortless. Conducting seems to come entirely naturally to him," unquote. Well, of course it does. He's got the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie Bremen, which could play this music just as well without him. And that's the thing. Now, I've read some comments about this, and I have to say, some of you were salivating, looking forward to me like trashing the crap out of this. And I can't. I can't because I'll tell you why. First, we have to deal with the approach. The approach is typical chamber, period-influenced Mozart. In other words, like I said, the kind of Mozart that they could all play with their eyes closed in their sleep without him at all. So in order for me to judge how good he is or how good these performances are, I would have to be able to determine what he brings to the table. And the answer is I can't. As far as I know, he brings nothing to the table except the fact that he showed up on the day. That doesn't mean the performances are bad. You have to like them of their type. I happen not to particularly care for them of their type because I think they do some very silly things. Those silly things include in the slow movements playing mostly senza vibrato, this is symphonies, by the way, the Hofner, number 35, 40, and 36, the Linz. In the slow movement of 40 particularly. To play that without vibrato is just plain stupid. If he had creative vision for the work, the question would be, what does he do that everyone else wouldn't have done in the same circumstances, or that these players wouldn't do left to their own devices without any conductor at all? And like I said, I can't really tell. I would love to have heard a sensuous, beautiful performance of that slow movement within the context of this general period instrument sort of approach. That would be interesting. The first movements are all extraordinarily quick, particularly of number 40 and the first movement of the Hofner. They have really, really obtrusive timpani playing. Timpani that is so loud that it obscures the actual bass lines, which means you don't hear the tune sometimes, which I find really disconcerting when trumpets and drums are playing, and the trumpets don't balance the timpani. The timpani are just out there. And that may be him. It's a balance issue, which I think needed to be corrected. Did he say something about it? Who knows? Hey, we have to hold him responsible for the result. There's no question about that. Then the finales and the minuets, particularly, are extremely fast. I think too fast. The minuets, are too fast. The finales actually are not too fast. Thank you. Now I'm getting it straight. Particularly that of the Hofner, which, people say, Mozart say, play it as fast as possible. And everybody just whips through it, like sometimes ridiculously, particularly period instrument people. Well, here he doesn't. He takes it at a normal quick tempo. It's a normal quick tempo, but it allows articulation. It allows shape. I hear a creative force. Yes, there is a creative force out there. There are some moments like that where you can tell that the guy's got some ideas, and they aren't necessarily bad ideas. But let's face it, Mozart symphonies are not the kinds of pieces that are going to be most indicative of what your positive interpretive qualities are, unless you make them that, unless you do something to make them that. And he doesn't. He really doesn't. The Linz Symphony is an interesting case because some of you may know there's a big long rehearsal record of Bruno Walter rehearsing the Linz Symphony, which is very, very interesting to hear as an indicator of how conductors work and style and all of those things, where he's really teaching the players how to make the orchestra sing, how to shape a melody, how he wants the thing to sound. I would have been so curious to have a rehearsal of him working with the orchestra so that we could know how long did this take? How much time did they really spend? I mean, what is this? When did they do this? It was recorded. Let's see what this says. Total time, bloopity bloop. Well, they don't tell you on the back. I wonder how much time they took over this. It always fascinates me because that could be some sort of indicator of what they were doing. And here we are. Let's see. It just says 2/2023, February. Well, we don't know exactly how much time they spent and how much work went into it. But we're dealing, like I said, with people of such enormous technical facility that, determining what an interpretation is a little bit difficult. Now, wait a minute. There is more. Because this CD only contains the 3 symphonies. The download, which I also have, contains 3 improvisations in which he plays the piano. Improvisations on themes from the symphonies. You want to jump all over them and say it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. And you want to say that they sound like Mozart as lounge music, which they do. Do they tell us anything about his feeling for Mozart? Well, no. I mean, we know he likes it. That's a good thing. I mean, I'm sure that's a good thing. And there's love there. There's feeling there. I mean, there's obviously an enormously talented musician. I mean, but talent is not, I should wear my T-shirt, the one that says talent isn't unusual, intelligence is. And that's what we really are looking for, aren't we, folks? There are lots of talented people out there who could play this music perfectly well. And they do. They play it perfectly well. If you like that sort of periody instrumenty thing with excessive timpani and no vibrato with the slow movements. And I don't think that that's particularly idiomatic or characterful. Myself, I do not. But of its type, it's well done. And I have no sense whatsoever of who this person is, what he loves, what he can do. We're not going to find out because they wouldn't let him say, well, I don't really care about Mozart. This is just my first record. I think it's interesting that he chose Mozart for his first recording. I just wish I could say something more positive about the characteristics of these interpretations. There are good things and there are less good things. And we have to wait and see what happens with these recordings, with his recording program, with how he develops, and what becomes of him. But I wouldn't write him off. I don't write anybody off. I really don't, actually. There's no point in writing everyone off because you got to keep on listening, right? And take each disc as it comes. So, he exists. That's my answer. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.